Hello everyone. I'd like to share my latest project, this day book. The cover is made with heavy black chipboard. It measures 5.5 inches wide, 8.25 inches high, and a 2-inch spine. It has 5 hand-stitched signatures for a total of 180 pages. I have a variety of paper, some tea stain paper, and some with pockets and tucks. The ephemera included is all USA related. There's 38 originals, 9 are part of the journal, and there's 18 copies, and 5 are part of the journal. The book cover, it's a digital from Junk Journal Shop called Day Book Cover, front and back. I'll show you the back shortly. Inside, the botanical images are from Emmeline Arts, and I have one aged paper from Screech Owl Studio. And yeah, the back, here's the back, the front, the 5 signatures. This marble paper is vintage and original, and the every signature starts with one of these botanical prints. After that, it's just a variety of paper. And here is a corner tuck. This was a little booklet, and in the little booklet it's a little ledger. I've included a few pages of the original. Here I have the definition of ephemera, an original receipt dated 1911 from Portland, Maine, from Parker and Tones. This is a copy of a receipt from 1873. I love their handwriting from way back then. The images are printed on parchment paper, tea stained paper, vintage fine paper, some tea stained parchment paper. Here's a bag from my Etsy shop. This is a copy of Myers photo service, just a tiny little photo album to put little photos in. And I've also copied this envelope of the New Ace mounting corners, but inside are 16 real photo corners from this collection that I have. Some ledger paper. This is Italian recycled paper. Here is a statement of account, original, in the middle of the signature, the first signature. Here I've included an original receipt, the E.H. Lingo Company, which he was a lumberman in Texas. And here is an order form for Avon. And there's 2 copies. This was the customer copy and the representative's copy, I guess. That goes in there. The other side, ledger paper. Inside here is an original, it's a Frisco, it's a train order form. It's very fragile. It's an interesting paper. I'd like to know what type of paper that is. I googled it, but I couldn't find the type of paper. It's not it's not trace paper. An original photograph of 2 ladies sitting on a little twig bridge. So that's the first signature. The second signature here is, I copied this envelope, historic old New Orleans, and the original, it's a booklet, but I only copied a few images of New Orleans. This is from a spelling tablet. I just love it. It's a class, date, pupil, and the spelling, you'll see the other end of it where it corrects. This is vintage tracing paper, graph paper. This is from a Carhartt, some type of ledger book, ledger account, then the crop cost sheet for crops, poultry, etc. And the only reference I had to age was 1910. Here's a copy of a business card for a poultry farm where you could buy some chickens. There's the other side of that spelling tablet. And here it's the misspelling. It's really like it. Here is, this is a copy of a postcard dated 1923 to the Honorable City Clerk of St. Petersburg, Florida, and it came from New Orleans. Here's a copy of a United States map from a French Larousse dated 1922. And this is an original, this is a personal photoreal, and with the envelope. And on this photoreal, it's you can see it's a visit to the White House. So there's pictures of the White House on the outside. And there's one white car that I searched and I found it. It's a 1960s Mercury. I know nothing about cars, but I needed to know. I like the searching. So second signature. Third signature. Here is a copy of one of that booklet from New Orleans. These are originals. This is a rent receipt. Just a regular receipt from the 1900s. It says 1900s, but I mean, we're talking about a 100-year difference here. And then an original invoice from 1933 from the John J. Nissen Baking Company. So it's about ordering bread and biscuits and donuts and rolls. Here is from a time book, original book, original from the book, I should say. This is a 1908 ledger that I found. It's quite large. You'll see how wide it is, and it's 4 sections long or 6 sections long. I had to cut it for this book. And I put it in the center so I was able to put the full width of the full size of the book. So in here I have an original entry, like this is original here, this ledger page, an original entry in this ledger, and it's dated, well, here you can see it says paid November 14, 1907. So I guess it's not a 1908 ledger. And it has the customer here is the Lehigh University in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And they ordered 6 window screens for the common dining room. And the Lehigh, oh, and I'll do some searching. I hate that. Yes, it's a private research university that was established in 1865, and it's still there today. On the other side was a personal Mr. Jeffries in Pennsylvania. So that's an original. Also, this item here from 1878, Distillery Warehouse Internal Revenue. It was for taxes. And this one is from 1912. And it was an invoice for the Pioneer Telephone and Telegraph Company in Oklahoma. My ephemera in here covers from California to Maine. It's all in between. In this ledger, I found one invoice in the back. This is a copy that I made of that invoice. I did it in 1917. And I copied front and back, so you get the real feel of the invoice. And where there were holes, I made the holes, and it was quite grungy when I found it. But they're treasures. On the other side, here is a postcard of the Shasta County in California, but it hasn't been used. The fourth signature. This is an envelope from 1893. It's an original, and there was nothing inside. It's from Illinois, and what I did is I opened up the sides because the top was open. I opened up the sides. I made a folder out of it. So in this folder, I have an original Flinch playing card from 1913. This is a coin collector's envelope. I don't know the age of it, but I think it's the sweetest little thing. Here's a B&W redeemable coupon from 1940s. These are all originals. Here is a 50-pound ice coupon from the 1960s. Here is this is from the Gin and Paul Beachland Amusement in South Beach, Staten Island. And I think that's from the 1950s. Here I have a couple of mileage coupons from 1945, which is the last year of the World War II. Here are 4 stamps from the Boys Town in Nebraska from 1952. And here are 3 redeemable coupons from the Old Gold cigarettes from the 1970s. Here's an original stamp, the US 5-cent homemaker stamp. Here in, this is Play Money. I'm sorry, not that. This is Play Money, $120 bill. Here's a copy of a 1923 raffle ticket for a new Ford touring car, or $441 in cash, imagine. Here's a copy. It was for the New York, New Haven, and Hartford Railroad Company, the Pupils Monthly Commutation Ticket. And it was a little booklet of tickets, but I just copied the cover, and I included one original ticket from the booklet. I had fun collecting all this stuff and putting it together. Here is also, this is also a copy. I copied the envelope from Montgomery Ward in Albany, New York. It was for a mail order catalog. I think eventually they did open a store. So here you have the order, blank, and on the back side is the application for credit. Here's some vintage typewriter paper. This envelope, yes, it was an envelope for title papers for the Bay County's title. That's in, I think it's in California. I had to cut it down because it was quite long, and I did an envelope in the middle of the signature. It opens up. I put some gusset to give it lots of room to include some extra items. This is a copy of a tax bill for 1886. I love the handwriting, and it was for the County of Santa Clara and State of California. And this one itemizes all the pieces of land, and it said that here it's written in pencil, paid under protest. So love ephemera with the history. And here, I put these together. They're from Maine. This was from L.S. Bean Company. Adult ticket for one free ride in a Shell 10 passenger airplane at the Presque Isle, Maine Airport, September 6 and 7, 1933. That's a copy. This is also a copy. It was Camp Borden Military Theaters in Maine. And it was the program for the movies showing in March 1945, again the last year of the World War II. And some of these movies, Errol Flynn, Gregory Peck, Rita Hayworth. I'm aging myself. I know these people. I've seen movies, I should say. I don't know them. I've seen movies. It's so interesting. And the last signature. That's a copy again of another postcard from the 1923. This one is from Chicago. Now, I purchased some of these receipts. Oof. This is an original. I purchased it because of the graphics. And it's dated 1891. The ink is fading, but it's still quite easy to read. And then I got interested in the Fabiola Hospital Association. So I searched it, and I just put together a little history. Here is a picture, circa 1910, of the Fabiola Hospital. And with, just let me get out, I'll get out the information here. Yeah, Fabiola, circa 1910. But it was built in 1887. I won't read all the history of it, just quickly. It was built in 1887. Some additions were made to it. And then they built in, across the street, I want to get it, the Fabiola Maternity Hospital, circa 1924, the picture. And this is no longer here, that building. I'm not sure about this one. But this is the history of the Fabiola. And it was the members of the Fabiola Association, a women's club, that started these hospitals. Let me get this over here. Get it open here. Another one of these spelling tablets. In the middle of this signature, I have the original, but this is a copy. I just purchased this. It came out of a Life magazine. You can see this where it was stapled in the magazine. It's for a subscription for life, and it had this little envelope. There's a perforation line here. This was where you would glue down the envelope. You would tear it off. And you would include, it was $4.50 for a U.S. membership subscription and $5 for a Canadian subscription. I just put in some $5 fund. It's fine money. And so you would fold it down and mail it off to Life in Chicago, Illinois. And I was brought up on Life magazines and National Geographics. My father loved those magazines. And there we go. Here's another original postcard from Gloucester, Massachusetts. And it's from the 1920s, I think. I have it written down somewhere. Postcard. Yes. Yep, 1920s. And there you go. So thank you very much for watching, and it'll be listed in my Etsy shop. Thank you. Bye-bye.